Gentlemen, our spy satellites have spotted a huge laboratory facility in Australia. Now, this has got to be where Yuri has his cloning operation. Intel's gotten wind of his plans. He intends to kidnap key Allied leaders and replace them with clones. Commander, some of our best operatives gave their lives to get this information. Let's make that sacrifice mean something. Take out that lab.
Establishing battlefield control. Stand by. Incoming transmission.
Yuri's cloning facility is located in Sydney, Australia.
We'll launch our offensive near the Opera House. Yuri's lab is here. Intel also reports that he has a submarine fleet somewhere in the region. Yuri's boomer submarines have ballistic missiles that can be fired from a great distance. Send dolphins and destroyers out as soon as you detect them. Our base is under attack. Unit promoted. Battle control online. Building.
Welcome back, Commander. It's probably that time we should rip the Band-Aid off.
Yuri must have deployed his Chaos drones. If our forces get too close to those drones, they'll go berserk. Be careful, Commander.
Captain on the bridge.
Our base is under attack.
This is a painful mission, to be honest.
Yes, sir. On our way, sir. On our way, sir.
Right away, we're met with the Chaos Drone, a vehicle that can influence enemy units in the nearby area.
Steady as she goes.
Unit lost.
Sadly, depending on how much view you have of the map, it can do something that affects you while you can't see it.
Good to go.
Not sure I'm that much of a fan of it, but
Vehicle ready.
something we have to deal with nonetheless.
New rally point established. Our base is under attack.
Let's show them what we got.
Unit ready.
Unit securing position.
It's not immediately noticeable why this mission is kind of a pain, but don't worry. There's something that becomes rather evident soon enough.
Unit lost. Repairing. Our base is under attack. Incoming transmission.
Ready as ever. Rolling with the photo convoy.
We're picking up a fleet of enemy subs moving on your position, Commander. These must be Yuri's boomers. We think these deep-water submarines are armed with torpedoes, as well as heavy missiles capable of bombarding onshore targets.
Training.
Captain on the bridge, Commander.
And unfortunately, that is one piece of the annoying puzzle we have to assemble.
Unit ready. Our base is under attack.
Now, I don't know if it's maybe a factor of me not having the right units in place, or something I'm missing, but boomers are particularly resistant.
Building.
Standing by.
Unit
Aye,
ready.
Commander. Battle station. Allied ship reporting. Allied ship reporting.
Under normal circumstances, a few destroyers would be more than enough to take out a submarine,
Complete.
but
Unit lost.
boomers don't seem to work on that same logic.
Allied ship reporting.
Unable to comply. Building in progress. Construction complete.
Allied ship reporting.
So with an at least perceived increased health pool, more armor, or at least defenses, the ability to shoot not only at other ships, but also ground targets, makes them something to really be worried about.
Our base is under attack. Building. Repairing.
Thinking back on it now, it's also a little annoying that you have to face so many boomers.
Grateful to us for freeing the Pacific of Yuri's boomers. They've assigned a squadron of their elite Black Eagles to assist us on this operation.
Navigation system.
After all, we're given the mention of the boomers, there's the naval base that was just destroyed, but you can probably tell already on the map that there's not much more naval space. Like, the water seems to just cut out. So if you overcommit to the waterfront, which you kind of have to, just in case, But if you overcommit, then, well, you're kind of stuck with a lot of units that can't do anything. Annoyingly, too, the way that the ore fields are placed isn't quite great for the player. Now, I was hoping that maybe by capturing the airfield, I might be able to do a couple sneaky moves, which I half do. Like, it's not really successful, and we'll see why soon enough. But the main point about this mission, and why I personally don't like it at all, is because you can probably imagine already by what's revealed, it's a big city map. We're not a stranger to stuff like the Big Apple mission and some of the starter missions in the US campaign, so on and so forth. But it's never really been to the same scale as this.
Building in progress.
There's a lot of purple on this map. Like, a lot of purple on this map. So, I'd say probably 1 in every 4, maybe that's a little bit too much, at least 1 in 5 or 6 buildings are all occupied. And while I've mentioned that initiates aren't that great, it's also been pointed out, in the thread at least, that initiates get a boost in terms of range, kind of like deployed GEIs get a little bit more range. Initiates are just pain to deal with when they're in a building, and if there's enough of them, and especially if they're ranked up, they're going to shoot quite fast. So you kind of have to deal with that as a very painful means of completing this mission. Additionally, while we do have the paratroopers, it's probably been noticed by you, the viewer, that the aircraft that we call in to drop the paratroopers isn't something that's dependable, in the sense that you can never really predict where it comes from off of the map. A staple in Red Alert games or Command & Conquer games, for sure, but that doesn't make it any less annoying. The other issue as well is, well, the same one that you always have. Attacking any sort of base, especially ones that have mind control devices or Yuris nearby, becomes a painful task. If you don't bring enough, then anything that the Yuris manage to capture could easily just destroy your forces. If you bring things that are too powerful, you risk losing everything, and then having those units being used against you later on. And don't worry, maybe see a sped up version of how things can go rather poorly.
Repairing. Unit ready.
Immediately, 3 of my prison tanks, a third of the entire force that I sent, were immediately captured. Those didn't even have time to shoot, so you can probably imagine how much damage they did to my own forces, not to mention everything else in the area suddenly dogpiling. And while in a way I kind of wish that this level was a little easier for flying units, aka maybe not having so many of the Gatling turrets, to make do.
Go anywhere. Pushing away.
After all, the Rocketeers are, aside from, I guess, the Black Eagles, which is the Korean special unit in the original game's skirmish mode, there's not much else that can really attack all these various buildings with impunity. Sure, you could probably get prison tanks, well, not probably, but you could get prison tanks and use those, but that suffers the same sort of problems of if an enemy force comes to attack, you have to deal with them, and I'd rather not lose my prison tanks to something stupid like a building full of initiates. So, as you can imagine, yeah, it's kind of a slog. I try a bunch of different things too, which doesn't help me because, well, I'm spreading my cash through several different means, none of which are particularly cheap. And that sort of leads into the other problem with this map, or at least that I feel this map has, which is you start off near 2 ore fields, but they deplete rather quickly, and you really need to gain space on the map in order to capture more ore fields and therefore get more money. And, well, it just doesn't really flow very well. I guess another downer of this mission is that, unlike a couple other maps, there's just nothing special about it. There's a few secret hidden eggs and other properties in some of the other missions, but this one is just bland in a way. For example, in the previous mission, had you been able to capture the Psychic Dominator, or at least not destroy the Psychic Dominator, before rescuing Einstein, you get to use them, which is great.
Check out the
This game doesn't have a sort of
riding high.
capture boomers, or maybe a little bit more involvement with the water.
Ready.
Rockets in the sky.
Unit lost.
Igniting boosters.
Unit ready.
Clear out the play. Filled. Fuel tanks are filled.
Maybe an event where if you create an airport or air command, it would automatically gift you with 4 Black Eagles. I don't know, I just feel like there's something in here that could make it more exciting to watch.
Unit ready. Unit ready.
Black Eagle reporting. Rockets in the sky. They won't see us coming. Fuel tanks
Unit
are
lost.
filled. Vehicle ready. On our way, sir.
Structure abandoned.
Way, sir.
Unit
Dig it in.
promoted. Construction complete.
There's also another subtle hint, although one that you'd only really have with the Prima official guide, which is, well, even the guide tells you just build some prism tanks and do the duty of slowly marching towards the enemy base, destroying each and every building that they happen to occupy. And if it wasn't obvious with the Rocketeers earlier, every time you destroy a building, or at least reduce it to the point where units stream out and have to find a new home, they immediately scatter across 2 or 3 other buildings that you now have to take out as well.
Unit lost. Insufficient funds. Unit ready.
And even a strike like that is rather costly. It's unfortunate that I can't turn my destroyers into some sort of makeshift bomb or weight that I could just drop on buildings and have them explode. I mean, at the very least, I've destroyed their construction yard, so you can probably imagine how it's just the march continues. Destroy power, make sure that stuff gets unpowered, and then destroy, you know, the production capabilities and so on and so forth.
Unit ready. Chronosphere ready. Select target. Unit ready.
Command received.
For those wondering, the battle bunker, or is it actually the battle bunker? I think that's the Soviet building. Anyways, the defensive structure that we see for Yuri with the vehicle inside
Chronosphere activated.
is not immune to pulling stuff out.
Black Eagle reporting.
It's a rather interesting building in and of itself. Basically, it can house any vehicle whatsoever, and you basically just
Unit lost.
shove it in and let it do its thing.
Unit ready.
And yet again, we can see just how annoying it is to have initiates in every building.
Unit ready.
If only I had all my Rocketeers, though.
Black Eagle reporting.
Unit lost.
Kind of the warning to not just throw stuff away unnecessarily. Also, you always have to be careful because, well, the bioreactors that Yuri has, yeah, he'll toss infantry in there. And sadly, yeah, it's not just about destroying the clone factories. Sadly, you have to destroy everything on the map.
Unit ready.
Prism sensor stable.
Unit lost.
At least the AI is set to hunt us this time around.
Data received. Prism
Unit ready.
positional data received. All tanks are filled.
I'm not sure how frail the prism tankers are, but yeah, almost losing one to initiates is not a great look for them.
He's got no place to hide.
Mission accomplished. Unit ready. Chronosphere ready.